Good evening, people. Good evening for us, anyway. Good afternoon for some and good morning for others. It's the Armoury TV. We're back in business. What a way to start March. Let's get into this.
No one said it was easy. For a while it was touch and go. We've been waiting so long. In our hearts we were strong. Now we're gonna let the whole world know we're back. Back where we belong. We only had a minute, but then we went and did it. We're back. We're back. Back where we belong.
Yes. Good evening, people. It's your guy Gumsa from the Armoury TV. I'm with the main man like G Talks. How you keeping, brother?
Bro, I'm good, man. I'm good, bro. Busy. But as you can see, I got a smile on my face. And maybe it's got something to do with tonight's performance, tonight's, and the fact we're 5 points clear. And that was an absolutely purring performance. But you know what? I can't wait to get into it, man. How are you, bro?
Bruv, I'm happy, bruv. Like potential banana skin again. Do you know what I mean? We only played them a
100%.
few weeks ago. Obviously, we all know they beat us 1-0 in the reverse fixture. And first 30 minutes, they had the better of the chances. They had the
Yeah,
better of the chances.
yeah.
And it just takes one moment. It's football, isn't it? It takes one moment and the game turns on its head. And from there, it was plain sailing. But let's get into it. Let's go from the beginning. Lineup, exactly the same lineup as what we saw on the weekend. Was that any surprise to you, or was you pretty happy with that?
I mean, this is the thing. It's like, obviously we do like the preview shows and that, and Bobby asked for the lineups and that, and there still is quite a bit of difference in opinion in terms of like who plays where, etc., etc. But
Mm.
I was happy. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't the exact. I don't think it was the exact lineup that I went with. But I'm trying to think who it was that wasn't in. I think it
I
may be
think most
Jorginho.
people had Partey in the
Yeah,
team,
I think it
which
was
makes
Jorginho
sense
starting
because
for
yeah,
Partey. But I mean, given Jorginho's impact since coming to the club,
mm,
even though a lot of us weren't over the moon when he signed, given his impact, even in games that we've lost, yeah, I didn't bat an eyelid. I looked at the lineup and I was pretty much happy with it. And I thought, look, if we turn up and we play the football we know we can win this game with that side. So yeah, no qualms for me. What about
yeah,
yourself?
yeah. For me, it was similar. Like I didn't have issues with the starting 11. Like it was in my thing. It was do we rest? Do we bring Partey back in just because in the away game Everton were
Mm,
quite powerful in midfield, and we all know Partey physically is better than the other two.
yeah,
Xhaka holds his own, but obviously Jorginho, that's not his biggest strength, is the physicalness of it, and do you know what I mean? The speed that Everton could counter at. So that was my
yeah.
only change. It wasn't because Jorginho was bad. It was just more actually if we need to match up a little bit,
Mhm.
Partey is more suitable. So yeah, no issues with the 11. To be fair, was I'm quite happy with the front three. Even in my preview, I said I might rest Saka for this one and
Yeah.
give, but that was just
Yeah,
more
you
about
did. You
resting
did.
purposes with Saka's performances. And yeah, thank the Lord I'm not the manager because the main boy steps up again to get us up and running. Um,
He always does.
yeah, we're not going to dissect the goals today because we are going to have to
Mhm.
move a bit quicker than normal. But let's talk about Saka's involvement in the game. He got a goal, he got an assist for Martinelli.
Yeah.
We will touch on that goal a little bit because that was tight.
Mhm.
But yeah, once he got that ball in that space there, was there any doubt for you, or he's
You know
just
what
doing what he's got to do?
you know what it is with Saka, yeah? It's like I'm one of his like biggest fans. Obviously,
Mm,
like a lot of the fan base. At the same time, there are elements of his game. He is young. And I think in a way he's kind of like what's the saying they say? Like it's almost like it's his fault that his critics criticize him the way they do because he
mm,
set such a high bar in terms of his performances. So it's very easy to get onto him when he doesn't really look like he's at the races or whatever. But I
mm,
mean, in front of goal, I still have my doubts about him, but I think it's an area that he's massively improved on.
mm,
Hugely improved. Like the way he took that goal, it was a phenomenal finish. Like I said in a couple of group chats after the first kind of 30, 40 minutes that we don't look at our best. Um, Daesh has clearly got our number in terms of how
Yeah,
setting
he
up
knows how to. Yeah,
straight
he
up.
knows how to step against us. Yeah.
Um, and I actually said, it's going to take something special, I think, to break the
Mm,
deadlock in this game, and that was a special goal.
mm,
The Sinchenko play
mm.
in the middle of the park, and then to find Saka. It was a bit of a weird one because he didn't even really kind of like he didn't even Sinchenko didn't even really find the runner. He's like Saka kind of took the ball with his back to goal in a kind of like I think he was in a stationary position.
Mm,
He just
mm.
turned his man differently, took a touch, and I mean
Rifle.
he beat England's number one
No.
at his near post with an emphatic finish.
Mm. It
No
was
keeper saving
clinical,
that. No keeper
and
saving that, bro.
100%. And that was the thing. It was clinical and clutch. It was the
Yeah,
game crying out. Because again, Everton, not say we're comfortable. You can see we were stretching them a lot more than we did at Goodison. You can see the difference
yeah.
in the size of the pitch. But again, sorry, I don't know what's this cut out there. It's just gone real dark, boy.
Don't worry, I can see
I
you,
saw that a
bro.
bit. It's all good. I was still smiling. But yeah, so it was just that quality, that killer instinct, and sometimes you need that one chance to take it because
Yeah,
you don't know when the next one's gonna come. And yeah, we didn't let them off. So yeah, fair play to Saka and Sinchenko. We'll talk about Sinchenko later because yeah, to me that whole thing he starts it from the beginning. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And yeah, he's different, but we'll get into him later. Second goal comes again. Saka's hard work. It was kind of a nothing ball. Everton in full control of it, and Saka just doesn't give up on it. Nicks it. Martinelli's in, does what you got to do. Finish it first, and let the referees talk about it afterwards. And
that's it.
again, at first thoughts it looked offside. All of a sudden the lines come out, and even that it looked tight.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, it was given as a goal. So I'm gonna go sort my light out,
yeah,
but talk us through what you thought of the second goal. It was a tidy finish because he didn't have much time
yeah,
to
man.
react and find a corner.
Definitely,
So talk us through
definitely.
that.
I mean, with regard to Saka, there was something that, like, obviously in this game, I was kind of like speaking to myself about because I was watching at home on my ones. Was that for me the press game wasn't there with us in this performance, and it's been like that. I mean, if you look at the beginning first half of the season, our press game was on point. Obviously, we're not. I don't think anybody envisioned that we were going to maintain that type of press in every 90 minutes in every game in 38 games. It's not even possible. But I do feel like sometimes, you know, when we are playing these deep block sides, when they do have the ball, I think the easiest way to score against them is by winning back possession. That's one of the easiest ways to actually score. So for me, I mean, if I was an Everton fan, I'd be pissed because I don't know what my man was doing. He was lackluster on the ball. He was lazy on the ball. Saka obviously on his heels, nipped in there, and you know what they say, like play to the whistle, play to the whistle. And sometimes if you're in front of goal, especially with the way the refs and VAR and how VAR is obviously used, just tuck it away, man. Like, unless you're on a yellow card or something like that, just tuck it away. Because I think Martinelli himself thought he was offside, and obviously saw the flag go up. His reaction wasn't that, he just thought, okay, yeah, I'm offside. But look, lo and behold, he scored the goal. Like you say, nice finish, and we're 2-0 up in. I mean, in a 45 minutes, that yes, we dominated, but for the main part, we were frustrated by Everton.
Mm,
And all of a sudden, we were 2 goals up
mm,
going into half time. And
mm.
I think once that second goal had gone in, I think even the Everton players at that point said, Bridget, we ain't scoring 2 goals.
Yeah. It was done, and
We're scoring 2 goals. So,
100%. And I like what you touched on there about the transition,
yeah,
and scoring in transition because
yeah,
it is important with teams.
it
If you let a
is.
team sit in and get 11 men behind the ball,
Yeah,
it's hard to break down. Sometimes you do have to catch them.
you
And
have
on the
to.
flip side, the only other way sometimes of dealing with it is the first goal. Zinchenko beats 3 men in the middle of the park, and that
100%.
opens up the world of space sometimes because someone's now got to come and engage with me, which leaves space elsewhere.
Yeah,
And once you start moving players around a bit, that's where you find space. Because again,
that's what you're going to
Saka
say.
probably wouldn't expect to sit in that pocket with
Yeah,
5 yards either side of him, space like, and you hadn't seen that over the 90 minutes in the Everton game, the first game, in the first 30 minutes. We didn't
mm,
kind of get that space and time in the pockets.
yeah,
But again, by beating free and drawing players out, and again, like you said, the second goal, the transition,
hmm
um, it does make a difference. So yeah, I was happy to go in at 2-0 because again, at 30 minutes in, I couldn't see 1-0 Arsenal, let alone 2-0. So yeah, very happy to go into halftime 2-0 up.
At that point, I mean, before the first goal went in, I was concerned. I was just thinking, I'm not sure how we're gonna break this team down. And obviously, you start to get the whole reminiscing of the first game. All it takes is a set piece, and then if they go a goal up, they're gonna be even more
They got something to
determined,
hold on to. Yeah.
even more hardworking. Do you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it was crucial that we got the goal.
Yeah.
I wanted an early goal, but when we didn't get it, the fact that we got one and then two before halftime completely changed the whole dynamics of
Yeah.
that match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, we haven't touched on it, but let's talk about a moment in the first half, which again was crucial. Jorginho got caught on the ball, and they
Mhm.
broke at pace. The pass out to the left side wasn't the greatest, which kind of made his mind up for him. It was like a 4 against 2 situation, and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ball
it
gets
was.
whipped in, and you're talking he's on the 6-yard box, isn't he?
Yep.
Morpay, and Gabriel comes in with a great block, and that's to me almost as good as a goal. We go
Oh, it
1-0
is.
down, then it's a problem, and
Yeah, it's a big problem.
we've said everyone's kind of sung Gabriel's praises for since the World Cup. He's been on a different level, and
Mhm.
today again showcased the importance of that guy
Yeah,
back there. Sometimes, like,
yeah.
yeah, important
And
moment.
you know what it emphasizes for me is that it's like at the end of the day, it takes a squad
Mm,
to push for a title and to win a title. And if you look at the form of Saliba, leading up to the World Cup in the first half of the season,
mm-hmm,
he looked on another level. He was playing
mm,
football on another level. People are talking about arguably the best centre back on form in the Premier League.
yeah,
He's not been quite there. And again, in a way, it's him setting the bar so high. So it's easy to now look at his performances
mm,
and critique them and say, well, look, you're not playing at the level that we saw you playing at. But
mm,
Gabriel's come back and he's gone, okay, mate. Like, game's
mm,
game's not game's not quite there, but and he's grabbed the mantle and he's been absolutely colossal. He
yeah,
he was he was so assured. Like a lot of the time we sit and criticize him for him being rash, for him sometimes having a bit of a bozo moment in his
mm,
game. But it wasn't just his defending, it was his on the ball. Some of the passes, like he was
mm,
spraying around. He had a phenomenal game. Like obviously the likes of Gabby and Trossard and Saka will take the plaudits because we won the game 4-0. But
mm,
there was one thing I said on the preview was I wanted a clean sheet. We've
mm,
not been keeping many clean sheets at the Emirates,
yeah.
and we got it. And he was one of the main reasons why we got that clean sheet because he was absolutely immense.
100%. We're gonna move on now. Second half, obviously, we made a substitution at halftime. Partey come on for Jorginho. Don't know if it's injury related or if it's just actually physicality. Partey's
Mm,
had 2 games back. Let's increase his minutes, give him 45 in the tank. But one thing I've been calling out for a long time, and we've had discussions on it, I think me and Bobby have spoke about it,
mm,
is how do you rather win? Do you rather the 1-0 or the 4-1 or 4-2? And I quite like the excitement sometimes. And I think as Arsenal, we don't kill teams off enough. Like we almost allow teams back in. 1-0's, even 2-0's never comfortable. I
mm.
haven't really seen Arsenal put a team to the sword in a long time. And for me, this
Yeah,
is probably the most enjoyable match I've watched in a lot. I've loved every game, don't get me wrong. And as
yeah.
Arsenal fans, I think we're really spoilt with the football we're playing. Like, I've watched Man
Mm,
United's last 3 games, and as much as they're winning, they're not playing well, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
Like, again, they could have been 2 down against Leicester. De
Hmm.
Gea keeps a minute, then they go and nick one. Newcastle, St. Maxin had a great chance. De Gea saves within a minute. They scored, and they're very clinical at the moment. But
Yeah,
it only takes for a Rashford injury or
yeah.
he start
Eventually
missing.
that catches up with you.
Yeah, you've got to sometimes dominate games. And what we're really sport with how we play. We're not scoring much. We're not scoring as much as we should for the football we play, but we play some saucy stuff. And the second half today, it was unbelievable
It
watching
was,
that. Like it was beautiful
it
to watch.
was.
A third goal again, Zinchenko heavily involved again.
Yeah.
Like he's just orchestrating, and then I think it's Odegaard to Martinelli.
Hmm.
And the tie. No, it's Odegaard's second goal, third goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was third goal, but it was to
Martinelli to
Trossard, out to
Odegaard.
Trossard.
Yeah, Trossard.
Yeah,
Trossard. Yeah, yeah. Just sourcing in it. Like
yeah, man.
it, is this some of the best football in the league at the moment? I know City have a great
Mm.
brand of football, but when Arsenal are
I
flowing
think
like that,
I think we're playing the best football in the Premier League this season. And
mm,
I don't even think that's a debate. I don't even
mm,
think it's an argument. Across of the games we've seen and the football that's been played, I would like for me, and obviously people will say I'm biased, but for me, we're playing the best football. And in the second half, we purred. You know, we were just purring in terms of like the way we were playing football, and you know, this is no like criticism to Jorginho. I actually heard a rumor that he might have been ill. At the same time, I think if Partey was on the bench, he's missed a couple of games, 2-0 up at half time at home to Everton. At some point, I wanted to see Partey come on. I didn't think it would be half time, but yeah, maybe 60, 70 minutes, bring him on. Because at the end of the day, moving into the latter stages of the season, we're gonna want and need Partey. I
Yeah.
said in the preview with Bobby during the week that two players for me, when they're on song and they tick, we tick and we play different. And that is Partey and Zinchenko. And I think tonight emphasized that everything that we did in terms of an offensive play, that was kind of, you know, just that level above what Everton could defend against. Zinchenko
He
was
he
in and
involved
around,
everything. He dictated that game.
literally.
Like
And
it
Partey coming on in the second half, I mean,
yeah.
just took
It,
absolute control of that midfield.
yeah. Yeah, they ran
And
out of steam. They ran out of ideas. It was a
yeah,
lot more open. They had to come out, and once they
yeah,
came out and opened up, it was curtains for them. And
it
the football
was.
we were playing again, Carl Bartlett, big at yourself. He's saying the front floor are unplayable. Um, he said Odegaard is Ballon d'Or quality, and it just shows when you give that kind of guy space and time, he will kill you.
Yeah,
Moss from across the pond saying Odegaard amazing. He said 80 million folks, and he was criticizing Odegaard before, but he is world class. Um, and you just when you see when you got confidence and it was just sourcing. Do you know what I mean?
it
It was
was
sourcing.
beautiful,
Then
man.
and you said earlier about the squad, and we've kind of lacked a squad of times. Again, we've
Mhm.
had long injuries to El Nene,
Yeah,
Smith Rowe, Jesus. Obviously, we brought players in, but today it showed the squad. So again, there's times when we've played, we've been winning games 2-0, same scoreline, and it's now more about containing, to see the game out. Let's not overdo it. Let's not stretch ourselves.
yeah.
But today, different story because
Bring
all of a
the
sudden now
changes,
you
Nathan.
got AD and Nketiah coming on now who's got a point to prove. I need to
Yeah,
do something to prove a point. You
yeah,
got Smith Rowe come back to fitness.
yeah,
Vieira's now saying, "I
yeah.
want minutes. Like I'm ready now." So
Mhm,
you're bringing on players, and we're going again. Do you know what I mean? Tierney's come on.
mhm,
He's got a point to prove. So it
mhm.
makes such a difference now in just the mindset when you're making these subs. It's not a we're making subs to just protect players. It's actually these guys are now wanting to come and make a point. And you saw it
Uh-huh.
today. They would look fresh. They look energetic. We could have grabbed a few more goals.
And
Um,
we still got Jesus to come back.
Jesus to come back. Yeah, so now the squad is looking healthy again. Tommy actually didn't
Mhm.
touch the pitch today. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Obviously holding is a defensive sub we normally make, but yeah, Tommy
yeah.
didn't touch the pitch. Reece Nelson was sat there. I was kind of hoping I would see him today, to be fair, but
Mm,
Tierney come on. But it just bodes well. Do you know what I mean? And the
it
fourth
does.
goal, Sinchenko again, another little disguise ball. Nketiah gets in behind and then reverses it back for Martinelli to tap. It's a good little tidy finish, but again, it just shows the depth is looking better and better every week, isn't it?
It is. You look at the bench, and I think it was something that struck me when I looked at the first team, the first 11. Obviously, you look at the first 11, and generally, I mean, Arteta has his critics in terms of like not rotating enough and changing things up.
Mm,
But I mean, I think when you look at the context of where we're at and the position we're in, I think it's difficult sometimes to kind of rationale making wholesale changes. When you've got you've got a trusted core of players that are doing the job for you, giving in top level performances, to not pick them. So when I saw the lineup, I was okay with it. I was happy with it. Having said that, it was the bench that really pleased me.
mm,
Because all of a sudden we look, like you said, we look strong. I mean, we had, like you said, Nketiah, Smith Rowe, and Vieira. We had three like very decent offensive players that we
mm,
could bring on. You know, if the game went on to be like a 0-0, 70, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, you can bring those players on and they
yeah,
can have an impact. But then even
100%.
defensively, like Holding, Kivior, like Tierney, Tomiyasu, it's
Yeah,
like when Jesus comes back and Nelson's fully fit, one of them brothers or two of them brothers are not making bench.
people, yeah. Who's got
So,
to sit out?
so realistically, like, yeah, like all of a sudden, like it's something that we've always said as
Mm.
a fan base, that we don't have the squad. And I still think that there are tweaks to be made in the summer, etc.
Yeah,
etc.
you can always
But,
improve. You can't stand still. You can always
but
improve, but
we're looking good, man. We're
the
looking good.
basis is there.
And I had to retweet a tweet that I put out about Trossard in January, because obviously when we signed Trossard, everyone was like, a lot of people were losing, not everyone, a
Mm,
lot of
mm,
people were losing their minds, saying, what a poor signing he is. This guy, like, I knew the impact he would have.
Mm.
But and I'm not saying like Trossard is world class. I'm not saying he's a worldie or anything like that. But what you get with Trossard is it was just an inevitable smart bit of business.
It just
Like
makes sense.
it
You
just
know?
makes sense, bruv. Like
Yeah.
you're getting a Premier League proven versatile
Mm,
forward
mm,
that will join your club in a time where you need
mm,
bodies
mm.
at 20 million or 21 million with add-ons. Like it makes in this
Yeah.
market
Listen,
absolute sense.
I'm having discussions with certain guys from other teams, and just big up the United agenda, big up Rebel. They're in the chat. Um, but I'm having conversations with people, and again, you look at our squads. We will bang on about our team. They bang on about the team, and rightly so.
Mm,
They're in a good form at the moment. This is not you
yeah.
digging out United fans or whatever. But I'm saying it's just different sometimes. Like
Mm,
I know you lot got Rashford you brought through, but you take Anthony for instance, the price
mhm,
tag of him, and yes, he's a quality player, but you
yeah.
paid for that quality, and that's
Yeah,
cool.
100
You
mil
look
in
at
it.
what we've got. You're talking that front three we had today. You could put front four. You put Odegaard in there. You're talking that is 60 million for
Yeah.
that front four.
Nuts.
You can't buy Sancho. You can't buy Anthony for that. Do you know what I mean? And yes,
Yeah.
United have got the money,
Mhm,
so they could do that. We have to be a bit different with how we buy,
mhm,
and but the recruitment, like yes, it was a no-brainer. Yes, it came at the right time of everything that happened with him at his club and the falling
mhm.
out and things like that. It fell together perfectly. But yeah, still hats off to the Forget It Done because he's been
Yeah.
a difference maker. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Him and Jorginho can kind of say they. I wouldn't say today, but in previous games, you have to accredit them for 4 points between them. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because games where we were drawing, we couldn't go over
Or
the line. We
impact in
saw it. We
games.
saw Newcastle. We couldn't go over the line.
Yeah.
Whereas we've managed to do it with those
Yeah.
guys on the pitch. So yeah, long may it continue.
I'm telling you, there are clubs in that top six or top eight fighting for Europe that are looking at that Trossard deal and they're thinking, "Hmm, we
Missed out
we
on one.
we should have maybe we should have gone for that."
Yeah, we missed out on
Because
one.
he's added depth, he's added quality to this Arsenal team,
Mm,
and he contributes. I think
yeah,
he's been a bit unfortunate at times. Like I mean, a couple of like chances and that goal he
the
scored at the
goal
weekend.
weekend was
It was
sweet. Yeah,
oh, it
yeah,
was I was so gutted
yeah.
that not even the fact that because we never got a second, but just for him, like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is
It
a
was a great
signing that I
finish.
was 100% behind
Yeah.
when we made it. Which I've not often been behind our signings, but
Mm,
with Trossard, for me it was a no-brainer. So I was in support of the signing, and
yeah,
I'm just so glad he's having the impact he's having
yeah.
because it just shuts up all the people that were writing him off.
Yeah,
From
yeah, and it seems a far way from the
what?
Mudryk backlash. Like,
Yeah,
remember the fans losing their minds? Like, I don't hear no one talking no more about it. Do you know what I mean?
bro.
And
I mean, hey,
it's
you
a
see
good
Woodrick
thing,
stats, fam.
bruv. And I'm not saying he's a bad player, and I stick by.
No,
It. I
no,
do think he's
no.
got a massive ceiling. And again,
Yeah, he
it
does.
might
He
come right
does.
from at Chelsea. He might
Yeah,
move
yeah,
elsewhere, and it might come right. There's a player
yeah,
there, but for what we needed right now, going for a
yeah.
title, we might not be in this position ever again for a long
It's
time.
true.
So we
It's
had to
true.
get. No, yes, we
I
wanted
actually,
Mudryk.
bro,
Yes, we
I
didn't
actually
get him, but
believe if you put Mudryk in this team, I
I
still
think he
think he would
cooks.
have cooked.
Yeah,
Like
he
he
cooks.
would have been sick, but at
He
the end of
cooks.
the day, we missed out. And like I said, like for me, I'm not the biggest fan of the way we do our business. But if we do miss out on a top target, I want to see the club act and secure the second target or an alternative. And they did that. And I mean, Trossard for me, like I said a million times, it just made sense.
Yeah, yeah, right. So we're gonna touch on to one thing first before we get into the player ratings, and then we're gonna come into yeah, we're gonna get to some fun topics this evening. We ain't got long on the street, so just before we go into player ratings, I think one player does need a mention. Rebel, we will get to some of your comments shortly, so stay tuned. We will get to them, but we need to wrap up this Arsenal game first. Um, we got to talk about Zinchenko. I think today I haven't seen a performance like that in a long time from one individual, especially a deep liar. Like
Mhm.
everyone gets the plaudits if you're the last part of the action, if you get the goals or assists. So I've seen people say Odegaard and Martinelli man of the matches, and entitled to your opinion. But this guy who plays at left back for us, but centre mid, right centre mid, wherever he ends up, it, I'm saying, is there a better player at the moment?
Mm.
I don't, do you know what I mean? I don't want to get carried away,
Yeah,
but like you said earlier, when he plays, you just see the difference. And
yeah.
today, the clinicalness of the passing, you think he's got one assist, two a pre-assist in that.
Mhm.
Like it's yeah. Again, he's not going to get credited with what he actually done in that game, but
Yeah, yeah.
I know you're a
You know what it
purist, a
is,
bit like
yeah?
me.
Yeah.
I
You
was
know,
purring watching him.
you
Yeah,
know what it is with Zinchenko. I think one of the things is you either have to be a gooner, um, and appreciate the way we play ball, or you have to be a very unbiased pundit
mm,
or rival fan, because I think a lot of fans, because like you say, like a lot of the time, as fans, when we don't watch other clubs and stuff, we look for obviously like assists and goals scored and stuff like that. So we don't pay too much attention into. I don't think rival fans are out there, because I've had many arguments. You know, some people, not that they don't rate Zinchenko, but they're just like, really, like, is he that
yeah,
good? Like, blah,
yeah, yeah.
because they don't really watch Arsenal
No.
games. Like, they look at results at the end of the
And
day.
again, if you watch him back in the day, you might not see
Yeah, and you're not going to see.
first bit of what he
So
does.
I think that's the thing. I said you've either got to be an Arsenal fan who really appreciates the way we play, or you've got to be, like I say, an unbiased rival fan. Because I even know Arsenal fans that they'd prefer to see KT in the side, and they're shouting out for KT to play in the side. And I'm like, if you watch Arsenal play, and that's why I say you have to be an Arsenal fan that appreciates the way I play. I didn't just say an Arsenal fan, because certain sections of the Arsenal fans want KT in there, but I don't think they quite get, like, putting KT in there completely changes the way we play.
Yeah.
I don't
There's
think
a reason why
we're going to be anywhere near effective.
no. There's a reason why we
You
have
know,
75, 80% possession each game, and that's
this
because
is
of
it.
that
So
rotation. Like it's
yeah,
and again, we're not the only team that's doing it. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? But Zinchenko seems more affected than anybody
yeah.
else at the moment.
Yeah, we're talking about. I mean, like, beginning of the season, we were talking about, like, obviously someone like Gabriel Jesus, being, potentially signing of the season. I think it would be hard to look beyond Saka at this point for player of the season at Arsenal. Given I think he's got 10 goals now, 8 assists.
Yeah, maybe even more.
We're the only club in the Premier League to have 2 players in double figures in terms of goals scored.
Really?
Gabby's got 11 and Saka's got 10 now.
Wow.
At the same time, when it comes to Zinchenko, bro, honestly, he has to be in that conversation for player of the season at Arsenal.
He's different.
He has to be.
Different.
Because
And Brady say he's at least signing of the season.
We tick, bro.
The balance is nice. It just frees up. Again, we look at Xhaka. We all spoke earlier this season about Xhaka's role, Xhaka being more advanced. It's crucial what he does, because he sits in the midfield and says, "Go on, you get the freedom." And again, I know people say about defensively, that's what he was good. I don't see him really get beat. Like, it's a narrative people painted from the start of the season where it's actually it's really lazy. Like,
it's a lazy one. That's what
even
United
against
fans
Iwobi.
told me about Shaw. That's why they say, nah, but like, I want my left back to defend. I'm like, bro, your left back can't even dream of doing what my left back does. It's like, as far as I'm concerned, it all depends how you play ball, and how you want to play. And I understand United fans like rating Shaw. I've seen him in. I've not watched. I don't watch him a huge amount for United, but he's one of the most players that's impressed me when I've watched England play. He's a quality player. At the end of the day, you put Shaw in the Arsenal side, we don't tick the same way we do.
No, and that's it. It's just stylistically.
It is what it is.
Anyone could play left back at it, but the way he's playing left back is different.
Yeah, it's different.
And that's why we're the best footballing team in the league at the moment, as you said.
100%.
And that's the difference. We could bring Shaw in and we will win games with Shaw. May not win the same amount, but will we be the team we are right now? And that's the same with KT. It's not like KT's bad. There goes my lights again. But it's just stylistically. But we're going to keep moving forward. Let me get into some player ratings now. We're going to bang through these real quick. So we've got like 5 more minutes left of this stream. And then we're going to get into some interesting stuff. So I'm going to just run without the lights on. I'm sure you can see me, right? My lighting is bright. So let's get into Ramsdale. A lot more action today, actually, and made a crucial save at the end where he could have conceded in the last minute. So what score are you giving Ramsdale? I'm
gonna give it Ramsdale 8. I think he had a very tidy game. Distribution was good, calm and composed in the box, and when we needed him, he was there.
I'm with you. I agree with you on that one. I think he was really good today. Ben White, I'll take that. I'll give 8 again. Do you know? I'm actually gonna be real generous with my scores today. I think we was cooking. So he'll get 8 from me. Not gonna say too much about it, but just another solid performance, good on the ball. Solid 8. You could go inside of him, Saliba.
Saliba, I mean, looked a bit more assured today than I've seen him in some recent games. But I'm not going to go as high as an 8. I'm going to go with a 7 for Saliba.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to argue it. His partner Gabriel, I'll go with 8. I think that tackle just made the difference in his scoreline. And again, do you know what? What's difficult? Well, again, you know football, I know football. Most people in this comment section know
Mm.
football. A lot of centre backs don't want to get dragged out into a left back region.
Hmm.
Like it's a known fact. A lot of centre backs feel comfortable inside that little
Yeah.
square area. They don't want to come out wide. He's
Hmm.
forced out wide a lot because Zinchenko tucks in and he
Yeah.
defends out there like a left back. Do you know what I
Yep.
mean? He doesn't really get beat for pace. No centre back wants to be out there tracking a winger, and he goes out there and deals with it. So he has to get special mention because he's pulled out more than Saliba. As Saliba gets the
Hmm.
same more central because Ben White stays on the right. So
Yeah.
for that reason, I think Gabriel needs a special mention. I will give him an 8, but yeah, he was solid today, but he get an 8 from me. Left back Sinchenko. If I hit anything but a double-digit number, G talks, me and you're gonna have a word, boy. I'll be real.
Yeah, man. Zinchenko was just top draw tonight, man. Absolute top draw.
Mm.
Um, for me, he was the reason why we won that game. So for me, I'm going to easily give him a 10 out of 10 for tonight.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. He's got to get. I don't think we've really given a 10 on
Nah,
this channel.
he was the
Um,
difference.
but again. It's not even just the pass. It was the way he drove past 3 of the centre midfielders, and
Mhm.
again, we said it opens up the whole
Yep.
game, and you need someone to take them risks sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyone can
That
play safe.
goal, that goal that doesn't go, he doesn't do what he did,
You
and
don't
we
score
break
it.
the deadlock in 40 minutes. We end up losing that game or nil
Could
nil.
do easily, yeah.
Yeah,
And
easily.
it's that risk factor.
Yeah,
And again, it's sometimes you need someone to just take the risk, take the ball, and do something with it and open the game
yeah,
up. And he did that with that. And yeah, unbelievable. Again, I think it's 2 pre-assists and 1 assist in that game.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Quality.
Yeah, different level. So yeah, I agree with you. A 10. I think that's our first 10 this season. So I'm loving that. We're
Yeah.
going to centre midfield. Jorginho started. I'll give him a solid 7. Next to him, Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, I'll give him a solid 7.
Yeah.
Tempted to go 8, but I think he had a very good game. I think what he did quite well in the middle was like the physical side of things.
Mm.
Um, I know there is a lot of argument about seeing Vieira more in this Arsenal side. I wouldn't have necessarily
It's not a game
done
for
it
him today.
straight away for me against this Everton team because I looked at their midfield and they just look like giants.
Yeah, they're powerhouses.
So I thought Xhaka had a solid game, so I'm going to give him a 7.
Cool. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm with you. I think a 7, just pushing at 8.
Yeah, pushing
He,
the 8.
he looked a bit more effective in the final third today. He
Mhm.
whipped in 2 wicked balls. Yeah, he looked a bit more effective. So yeah, me 7/8 with you on that. Let's get into the front for Odegaard. For me, I'll give it 8.
Yeah.
First half again was difficult for him because again the 2 banks of 4 are very tight. There's not much space. Second half it opened up and we started to cook. So he'll get an 8 for that second half. Grabbed himself a goal. We go on the right hand side with Bukayo Saka.
Bukayo Saka, 9 out of 10.
Mm,
9 out of 10. I'd love to give him a 10. And do you know what? He probably deserves a 10 for that finish. I mean, that finish was top draw. Like I said earlier in the stream, I was like, it was going to take something special tonight.
yeah.
And that finish was, you know what? 10. He's getting a 10,
All
man.
right, you give him a
He's
10.
getting a
Fair
10. I'm
enough.
giving him a 10, bruv. If
All
we're
right, we
giving
give
out
him a 10.
10s, man, I'm giving my Starboy a 10.
All right,
His
Starboy gets
finish-
a 10.
His
Starboy gets a 10.
contribution with that finish and that second goal, for me, as much as like we've praised Zinchenko, he's got to finish your dinner. And let's
Mhm.
face it, that wasn't an easy finish.
Yeah,
When he got, even though Zinchenko opened up the play for him, but it wasn't an easy finish.
no,
And that press on their midfielder to get the second goal completely changed the game. So yeah, big contributions in this
I'm with
match.
you. I'm with you. All right, Saka gets a 10 as well. Let's move into Trossard, our take, and I'll give Trossard I don't want to score him an 8. He get an 8. He get an 8.
Yeah, I'm happy
Uh,
with that.
I think an 8. I think he wasn't he was involved in the game constantly, but he wasn't as effective as the other two. I think
Yeah.
in the front three. Um, so yeah, he get an 8 from me. You get Martinelli.
Martinelli got 2 goals.
Mm.
2 really good finishes, 2 really neat finishes. I mean, yeah. For some reason, I'm not gonna go as high as Zinchenko and Saka.
Yeah, I
Some
don't
people
think
might
so
be
either.
surprised. But I think I would have given him probably a strong 7 or 8 for his performance. But given the fact he got 2 goals and 2 very good goals, I think that's 3 and 3 now. I'm going to give him a 9.
And Brenny's actually corrected you. It's since he came out of the team being benched at Villa, he scored 4 goals in 3 games.
4 and 3, yeah,
So 2 today, 1 in the last game, and 1 in the
yeah,
game before when he come off the bench. So yeah,
yeah,
he's finding a bit of form again. He needed
yeah,
that
which
because
is
he
good.
was struggling a bit.
Yeah,
And is it linked to Trossard starting potentially? But we was just
who
cooking today. And
knows?
again, second half when the game opens up, we cook, and that's why it's
Mhm.
important for us to get them leads early, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
now teams have got to come out. Now we can kill. Um, Substitutions. Partey was the first man on. I'll give him an 8. You saw his class when he come on. You saw the physicality, what he brings. Awobi went to break on him. He said, "Not today, son."
yeah,
Dealt with that quickly, and it was just again. Don't get me wrong. The game was more open in the second half, so Jorginho had the harder of the battle
yeah,
because Everton was fighting
yeah,
for something. Second half, it was done, so
yeah,
he had it easier. It was a lot less pressing from Everton,
yeah.
but you can see what he brings. So yeah, 8 from me. Let's move on from him. Who's second sub? But I think it was Nketiah came on next.
Yeah, and Ketia came on, had a contribution, made an impact. He should have got a goal.
Should have scored. The
Um,
movement was sweet.
yeah, he
The
should have
movement
got
was
a
sweet, but he
goal.
had to finish.
But nevertheless, we were comfortable, and he still got his head up, and obviously provided an assist. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Who else? Come on, Smith Rowe. I'm going to give him a score because it was nice to see him today. And
it
he
was
again,
nice.
when he played against Oxford, he struggled a bit. Was it Oxford he
Yeah,
played? Yeah, but this game, he looked a lot better, man. He looked, yeah, it was nice to see him back out there. So I'm going to give him a 7.
nice.
Because yeah, it was nice to see him. We give Vieira a score. How would you think Vieira looked? Because he had some nice touches today, I thought.
Yeah, he had some nice touches. I mean, it was hard for him to, do you know what I mean, kind of come into the game. I mean, at that point, he'd won, but you could see the hunger, like with him
Yeah,
and a couple of the other players, like Nketiah. He got that chance. His head didn't drop, straight back up there, got an
got an
assist.
assist.
So Vieira, yeah, I think it'd be hard to give him anything less than a 7 because he came on and he did a solid job. So for me, it would be a comfortable 7.
Yeah, and I'll give Tierney a 7 as well. He came in and had
Yeah,
to play that inverted role. He done all right when he come on. It's nice to
yeah.
see him out there as well, getting some good minutes. So, yeah, good for him. Arteta, what you scoring the gaffer today?
Yeah, I think it was love the lineup. Barking as usual on the sidelines, which I love. Love to see that passion. I think he made a really good change at halftime to bring on Partey. And it was really nice to see a lot of rotation in that second half in the latter stages. The likes of Eddie, Vieira, ESR, KT come on. So yeah, I'm going to give the gaffer a 9.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's hard. He's not getting a 10 because what more can you ask him to do in that
Yeah,
kind of situation?
yeah.
The
You know
boys
what it
come out,
was
don't want
though?
to.
I don't feel, even though the first 30, 40 minutes was a bit tricky, I don't feel like he had that moment where he kind of did something and it completely changed the game. So I'm gonna just give him a 9.
You give the scores to
Yeah,
the players. It's the players today rather than
yeah.
I hear you. But yeah, I love that. We got a question for you quickly. Yes
Yo,
or no answer. Does Jesus come straight back into the team? And when we say straight back in, is he coming to the 11
yeah.
or has he got to do the
First of
party?
all, big up
Big up
Tez.
Telstar.
I know Tez from Twitter. Yeah, he's a United fan. Big up
Oh,
Tez.
serious? Big up yourself, Tez.
Tez is talking. He's got his own podcast now. He's a United fan. He's still buzzing after their first trophy in how long. So yeah, big up Tez. And thank you for tuning in, Tez. Does Jesus go straight back into the team? No, he doesn't.
Yeah. I wouldn't rush him personally either.
Nah.
You got to let him again on the bench 30 minutes,
Yep.
35 minutes, 45 minutes.
Come
then
in.
you might get a start.
Let's see what you can do. And then we just
As long
move
as
from there.
As long as we're winning, he doesn't need to be rushed back in. If we hit that patch like we hit a few weeks ago where we're not winning, then he may get called in earlier.
We've proven so far like that Eddie can come in and do a job. Which he did because at the end of the day, remember the narrative of many narratives this season was once Jesus got injured, our season would be over.
Yeah.
Right now, we're still 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League.
Yeah.
So Eddie hasn't come in and scored goal for games. At the same time, he's come in and he's contributed. He got some really early goals when Jesus was out, but he has contributed. He's picked up a knock. Trossard has come in.
2 against United. Let's not forget them two.
Exactly. That's a huge game. Huge game that he got 2 goals against. And I think sometimes we forget that. But then we've also seen now Trossard can come in and do that kind of false 9 position. So there's really no need to rush him back anytime soon. Obviously, if he's fit and he's ready to play, he'll get game time. But yeah, I personally can't see Arteta bringing him straight back into the side. And I think it would be somewhat unfair on the likes of Eddie and Trossard for him to come straight back into the team as well.
100%. And again, it's if Partey don't walk back in the team at the moment, Jesus, especially with a longer injury, bigger injury as well,
Yeah,
Jesus don't walk
we
back
got
in.
to take care of him.
Have to manage him. Have to
Yeah,
manage him.
we do. Because if he goes down again, it could be
That's the
curtains for the
season.
rest
That's
of
the
the
season
season.
done for
Yeah,
him. Yeah, yeah. So you
we've got to
manage
look
him.
after him.
Have to manage him. Right, let's
Yeah,
get into some other pressing news. There was a lot of games going on, FA Cup games all around the place. Big up United. Dave won their game, come for I
I
think
know
1-0, 1-0
United.
down to West
Yeah,
Ham and they ended up coming through winning 3-1. Big up themselves, won a trophy
yeah.
on a good little run. I think
Season's
Liverpool came
season's
through a
looking
game
good.
2-0 against Wolves. But the most important game, it looks like it's another trophyless season for Tottenham Hotspurs. Ah, they've done it again.
They've
Tottenham
done it again,
Hotspurs,
man.
they've done it again. And they get battered everywhere they go, the United
Yeah,
Union, the guys are saying. Big up pitchside football. He said only an Audi took up to keep the Spurs fans warm at night. It's a beautiful thing. You love to see it. There's one thing that everyone seems to be united in at the moment, and it's an enjoyment of watching Spurs and Liverpool and Chelsea's
yeah,
demise.
yeah. It is
It's nice
beautiful.
to see.
It is
Um,
beautiful.
but yeah, it looks like another season. I think they're still in the Champions League, but they lost 1-0 to
Mhm.
Milan in the
Yeah,
first game.
return leg
So
is
that
next
could
week.
be them out of there. And if they lose
Mhm.
that, then that's them. That's again
That's
another
the
trophy
season.
this
Because
season.
remember, like they're still holding on to this Champions League thing because
Yeah.
a lot of predictions were they were going to win the league or the Champions League. So all
Mm.
it takes is for Milan to do them next week, and then that's it, done, curtains,
Yeah,
season
the
finished.
season's done.
And I'm
Yeah,
telling
man.
you, as much as Liverpool are still very inconsistent,
They could catch.
they win tonight. Have they won tonight?
Yeah, they won
They won
2-0.
2-0. So if they win their game in hand that they got over Spurs, they're 3 points behind Spurs.
Yeah, they're still in that race. They're
They're
still in
still in
it.
that race, man.
Yeah, they're still in
Still
it.
in
So
that
we'll
race.
see what
And don't
happens.
write off Fulham either. Jeez.
Yeah, let's see what happens. But big up Tez is talking. He's saying Nketiah ain't done nothing since he played you lot. And do you know what? If that's what he does for the rest of the season, then so be it. But I'll tell you what he did in that game there. He gave me bragging rights. He gave me 3 points, and he put you lot in the mud.
Man,
You know what I mean? So yeah, again,
listen.
this is what it is. It's a squad game, isn't it? And this
Yeah.
is the best thing about Trossard is as well is taking the pressure off Eddie now because there was a pressure was starting to mount on him.
Yeah.
If things are going wrong, we're going to look for one person to blame, and it's going to be him because he's not the consistent
Hmm.
in that team.
Yeah.
So what Trossard's done now is he's kind of eased a bit of the pressure. It's shown we could do it a different
Mm.
way. Again, it's giving
Yeah.
teams something else to think about. With
Yeah.
Eddie, it was very much right. He's going to stay in the middle. We know how to mark that out. Now Trossard's it's a bit more movement. Now, if you're Bournemouth, who's going to
Mm.
start? Is it Trossard? Is it
Yeah.
Martin?
Yeah.
You might
Yeah.
set up for Trossard.
Yeah.
Eddie starts, that changes your
Yeah.
game plan. So, yeah, it just gives us another
Yeah.
dimension.
And my question, my comeback to Tez is what the has Weggles done all season, mate?
He's gonna say he scored today. Watch him, watch him. But guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure we hit the subscribe button. Make sure we hit the like button as well. G Talks, we got a bounce. We almost stuck to 30 minutes, but you know us when we get talking.
Almost.
You got a
Almost.
name like Gumsa and a name like G Talks. There's no way we're sticking to the time, boy. Because it's gonna go off. But yeah, it's a pleasure having you on as
Pleasure.
always, brother. Guys, just keep hitting the like, keep subscribing, keep the comments coming. I will be back in the chat later tonight. But I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir.
Sitting 5 points clear onto Bournemouth this weekend. Like it's looking good. It's looking good. For us, we out of here.
Take